or to solve vote buying, first vote buying. One is under COMELEC rules or the Commission on Elections or Election Management Board, for you to complain for the issue of vote buying or any other election offense, there's a need for a verified complaint. When you say verified, there's a need for a person to introduce himself as the one complaining. And for those of you who are familiar in the Philippine setting, especially when it comes to elections, it's hard to complain against a political dynasty because your life or the lives of your family would be in danger. So, one remedy or one legal reform that can be pursued is to remove that requirement of a verified complaint. In this election, one good thing that COMELEC did or election management body did was to investigate motu proprio or automatically reports of vote buying. And that was the first time COMELEC did that in our elections. In previous elections, COMELEC would always tell us, you need to file complaints first. But because vote buying is a big problem in the elections now, COMELEC was pressured by the general public to investigate, especially those reports trending in the different online platforms. So that's one remedy. Another remedy is a change in the way how we penalize our election offenses. For everyone's information, all election offenses under the Omnibus Election Code or the primary election legal document in the country, there's only one penalty, from 1 to 6 years. For example, you were caught distributing flyers on election day, and that's illegal under an Omnibus Election Code. Your penalty is the same as the penalty for vote buying. So there's a need to rationalize our penalty for the different election offenses. And there's a pending bill right now in our Congress to make vote buying a heinous crime or to increase the penalty from just 1 to 6 years to being it a crime that you can be imprisoned for life. So we don't agree with that. Personally, Lente doesn't agree with that penalty, but there's really a need to revisit the way we penalize election offenses in the country. As to the issue of ASR or abuse of state resources, there is a resolution by the Commission on Election, the Civil Service Commission, as to abuse of state resources. And this resolution was issued out 8 or 7 years ago. And we all know how elections has evolved through the years in the Philippines, particularly the use of social media. And the use of social media when it comes to government resources was not addressed in that COMELEC resolution. Because we all know 7 or 8 years ago, the use of online platforms was novel in the way our candidates and political parties did their campaign. So there's a need to revisit that COMELEC and CSC resolution to better address the problem of ASR in our elections. Another reason is Lente did a long-term observation of ASR in the country, a 3-month observation of abuse of state resources. We were present in all of the regions and mostly in cities, and we observed and monitored ASR. And what we found out was our government employees, they're familiar with this problem, ASR. But the general public, they're not familiar with ASR. When we're doing the interviews, when our observers were doing the interviews at the first instance, they always had to explain to the interviewee what ASR was. So it's not a problem known to most of the voting population or the general public compared to vote buying. So another solution that we could do to address the problem of ASR or abuse of state resources is to educate more the general public what is the problem about or what is ASR and why is it a problem. Because I think the problem with ASR is people are just used to seeing it and they just feel that it's part of the campaign of candidates in the elections. But it's the advantage of the incumbent. So there's a need to educate more our general public that it is a problem and that it is an election offense under our current legal framework. So those are my answers to the 2 questions. Again, thank you very much to ANFEL and to all our colleagues all over the world for giving us this opportunity to answer those 2 questions. Thank you.